What's going on, world? If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Jasper, and Theo. Make sure you go hit that like button, subscribe, and rate us on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts. We put out new episodes weekly, so you want to make sure you don't miss a single thing. And while you're there, you can also leave us a comment or two. Or, if you want to reach us more directly, you can DM us on our official Instagram at Making It Make Sense with IJT, or you can also email us at makingitmakesensewithIJT@gmail.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Jasper, and Theo. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Latangela. You know her from Taina and also from Shark Tank, where she presented her grease bags. And she's here with us today. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to just have conversation with you, get to know you more, and let the audience get to know you as well. So Isaiah will start us off. We'll take it from there.
Absolutely. So obviously, I was super enamored with grease bags, and just you being the founder. I was really excited to read about that. And we love innovation from people of color and Black innovation. So I guess I'd love it if you tell us a little bit about your journey as the founder of the eco-friendly brand. How did you come up with the concept, and what led to its creation?
Oh yeah, so it's very interesting, and it's so funny because people are always like, dang, I don't know why I never thought of that, or how did you come up with that? And I'm like, I think we all invent, every multiple times a day. I mean, I think we all say, if I made this, I'd do it like this, or what, it'd be great if my vacuum did this or whatever. And even an improvement is an invention. And so grease bags actually came out of my own necessity. I was, I love to cook, and grease was really a nuisance in my own kitchen, especially when I lived in an apartment that was, it's a nice apartment complex, and I had valet trash and everything, but the grease was a problem because they were throwing these trash bags on the back of these trucks, and the grease was like, I don't care how many bags or how many, I put it in coffee can and put a million plastic bags around it, it would still leak everywhere. And so there were like rodents starting to come around and everything. And I'm like, wait, whoa, is that because of me? And so they left it. And so they left a note on my door, like, yeah, you got to do something with your grease. And so this is like 3 flights of stairs down and around the corner, around the bend, and it's cold in Texas. It gets icy and stuff. So like I had to, I was like, look, there has to be a better solution. And years prior to that, me and my brother had touched on the subject, but I really honed in on like, okay, let me dig into it. Let me see if there's anything out there. And if not, what I could do to create it. And I just happen to be a fanatic of Shark Tank. So, I'd always told myself along the years, I was like, if I come up with an idea worthy enough, I will, take it to that show. I will try out for that show. So this was it. And they happened to be doing an open call that year, and I went out and happened to get on the show. So it's just kind of crazy how it all went down, but it was a roller coaster. Even like Shark Tank was the hardest audition I've ever done in my life. Like,
I was just gonna ask you about that, like, because listen, let me tell you, you shined in that power suit. Like, you was
Thank you.
You really did.
Oh yeah,
you really did.
You came in like a
But
boss.
look at that. I have a question. So so when you do your credits, you're an actress, you're a singer. Do you now put that you also are an inventor?
Yes, I do. I try to, when it makes sense anyway. But yeah, I definitely try to do that and make it known because it's a part of the story now, and I've even written a children's book. So that was, it's the author.
Your author. Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm all over the place, but they're genuinely things that have come about over the years. It's not like I woke up one day and said, "Hey, I want to be author / inventor / like it wasn't like that was my plan. It was just like, really, I'm just a scatterbrain, and
You're a
over
monsterpreneur.
Right, well, entrepreneur, exactly. And these things have come organically over the years. I mean, when I have, instead of my hands just laying dormant, when there's no auditions, when there's no jobs, when there's whatever, I'm like, okay, what can I do to keep myself busy? And so that's what comes about in those moments. Are these things.
Did you also patent this invention?
Yes.
Awesome. Look at that.
Yeah.
Please continue creating.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Continue
Thank
inventing.
you. I do. I have so many other ideas. I have some product extensions when it comes to grease bags as well. But it actually became more than I thought it would be. As I dug into the problem, it really is a big problem. Like, people throwing away their grease or disposing their grease the wrong way is really causing a lot of environmental issues. And I didn't know.
I'm sorry to say, but that's me.
Right, and it's a lot of people, and it's honestly because they just don't know, not because they don't care. It's just they just don't know. They're like, wait, what? I didn't know it was doing all of that, And so it's just like, look, it's a simple fix. Even if you don't use a grease bag, just hey, a coffee can is better. But it's just there. We have a problem with waste as it is in our landfills, and the grease bag is better because it is biodegradable. It will decompose in the landfill, and keep your waste, whatever it is, whether it be paint, motor oil, whatever, cooking oil, it'll keep it encapsulated so it doesn't leak back into the earth and contaminate things more. So, we all the way around it is, we're trying to basically protect the planet. So,
and
that's the big message.
Oh, sorry about that. And wouldn't you say it's really, I mean, well, over timely in a sense, but I was going to say, wouldn't you say it's incredibly timely, especially because now we're in a space in the world where, people are talking about the environment a lot more because of climate and whatnot. So I think you'd say it's pretty timely, for this to, for people to really start getting involved in what you're doing in your home and how you're disposing of things. Am I right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, even like in Canada, the stores are starting to, the trend is where people are moving towards like, you can't even put your product in this store if it's made out of plastic. If it's not biodegradable or compostable packaging, then we don't even want it on the shelf. So that's where a lot of stores and corporations are even moving. It's becoming a problem to that extent, where it's like, look, we have to, force people to see how big of a problem it is. And even Snoop had teamed up with Revolt TV. I saw it last year around Thanksgiving, and it was just like, dude, you still drinking out of a plastic bottle? Like, we don't do that no more. Where's your glass bottle at? So
listen,
like,
I love a glass bottle. I have one
right
done.
right. And I have one with my amethyst crystal in it. So I love that one.
Okay.
That's spiritual. Yes.
I love an amethyst.
Okay. Got amethyst everywhere around my house. So yes. But yeah, so it's definitely become a labor of love. I guess it's very tough. Even, it's a tough product though. It sounds simple, but it's very tough because it is eco-friendly. Because I really have to like cross my T's and dot my I's with everything. Even the wording on my packaging, I have to stand up to everything that I claim. And and getting the word out, it's just that I deal with an industrial side of things as well as like a retail side. So it's a big animal. It really, really is. So,
but it sounds like you are. It sounds like you're in the you're handling the wheel in driving this car perfectly. Though you sound like you're in control, just like a boss.
I'm trying to be. I definitely am trying to be. Yeah, and I'm trying to recruit more help though now. It's very unrealistic for me to do as many things that I have been doing and wear as many hats that I have been wearing. Is getting to the point where, opportunities have been missed even because I don't have as many hands as I need on deck. So it's the interest is there, but it's so much interest that I have a lot of ground to cover. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to get some hands on deck now.
I think that's so awesome though. Like for me, like personally, I'm just really inspired by your conviction with it though, because like you said, it really is, you have to, cross your T's and dot your I's and make sure you're really standing with conviction behind the product. So I really applaud you for that. That's really amazing.
Oh yeah, not to mention they look at me crazy when the black girl walks in the room talking about environmental issues and the grease problem and speaking the language that the city speaks, and they're like, wait, what?
Well, you know what? Tell us more about that. When you're a woman of color, you're a black woman, and you go into these rooms and you occupy, well, first of all, space that any black woman should be able to occupy, because black women can do anything. Absolutely. Tell us more about that. How does that make you feel? Tell us about those interactions.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know if they have the ill intentions, but for the most part I get this look of like that they're puzzled, like they're like, wait, this is your idea? Like, how did you come about that? And what is your background, for one? Like, are you a chemist? Do you have a background in science? Even the sharks asked me that, but in the most respectful way. But there are times when you do get that. Well, I thought you were gonna say, your business was fashion or makeup or something, beauty related. You're so pretty, like that sort of thing. And it's just like, look, okay, all right, but you definitely get that look of shock because I think they expect it to be, a white dude or older white man that's speaking to them in these terms. But even in the whole waste management space, like there are hardly any women, whether of any color. Of any color. So women in general really have to be represented in this space, because that's really like, 'cause I'm also a vendor with the federal government. And so that's my category really, is waste management, because it's pretty much what I do when you put it in a nutshell. And so even in that space, I study the other women that are entrepreneurs in that space that even just have, pick up trash services or, do pick up sanitation for the city or whatever. There's very few women in that space. So in general, I think they're shocked to see anybody speaking that looks like me speaking about these sorts of things. And they're like, wait, what? So you found the solution? Oh, okay. Stop.
We'll continue kicking their ass.
Yep. Okay? Absolutely. I'm trying to show up and show out.
Show all the way out. Okay.
Yes. Yes, we do more than and not knocking. There's we have a lot of women of color in the fashion space and the makeup industry and the hair industry that are banging. They are busting it out and they are doing their damn thing. And shoot, their numbers are goals for me even. So not knocking them at all. I just like people to know that we don't just do that. We do a lot of things.
We do it all. We're moguls.
Yes.
And I want to talk to you about Taina.
Yeah.
About the importance of what that meant to a lot of Afro Latinos or young Latino kids
right
in the early 2000s. Do you remember the casting process for that show?
I do. And I was actually cast on another show called Rep. And it was a Nickelodeon show. It was based off of a repertory company called City Kids, based out of New York City. And that's a real repertory company. And I was actually a member of that company. And so they scouted the idea of that show through that company. That show just never saw the light of day. We never filmed the pilot. But what happened was they just moved me from, and Taina was the thing that knocked it off the table. It was like, no, this is better. Let's go with this, because the whole element of singing and dancing, incorporating all of that would have been a part of Rep as well. And so they were like, if we're going to do this, if we're going to be the one to set the tone like this, let's do it with this script. And so I understood completely, but that's what happened. And so they ended up moving me from Rep, where I was the lead on Rep, but they ended up moving me to Taina and giving me the role of Maritza. But I was so fine with it. I loved playing Maritza.
You
but
could
I was
tell you enjoyed it.
I so loved it. Oh my goodness. And everybody was like mad because after a while, like when you get used to playing your role, of course you forget that, okay, I am the lead of the show. Like even Christina used to be like, you just have so much fun though. You get to wear the craziest clothes. Like I want to be you. Like I want to play Maritza. So she didn't even care that she was the lead. But Maritza was actually I was only supposed to do 6 episodes.
Also, I just wanted to know, being I'm Afro Latino, and when I saw shows like Taina, and I can't recall or think of anything like that happening now ever happened again since then. Mm-hmm. And that representation was so important. Yes, once again, we understand now in 2021 the importance of representation, and I think Taina was like years ahead of the game. And as someone that grew up in a Spanish-speaking home with a Spanish-speaking mother and Spanish being my first language, a show like that was so important. Mm-hmm. And do you have you ever has anyone been able to let you know that, and have they ever been able to thank you for being a part of such a great experience?
Honestly, and I appreciate you so much for saying that as well, but I honestly, I get so much of that from the fans. I think that is the thing, that is the strongest theme amongst the fans. I think that's the reason why everybody is still so loyal and still, show us love, is because of the importance and the impact that it had in the beginning. And because we were only on for 2 seasons, so a lot of times people are like, well, season. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand the impact that it had for the time that it was on. And because there was nothing else like it, Christina was the first Latina lead. And she has been honored, and there's been numerous interviews, even with Maria, the creator, Maria Perez Brown. She's been interviewed numerous times, and so yes, their people have sounded off over and over. So we're all so grateful for that. What we don't understand is why they didn't try to do, a reboot or a reunion special or anything to sort of ignite that fire again. But because there is just so much passion behind the show still,
Oh, absolutely.
Please let the fire come back, because I don't think it ever died down. You guys, from my understanding, the ratings were great.
Yeah,
everything was aligned in the way that it was supposed to. But unfortunately, Nickelodeon and these folks just don't
like black people.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Color.
Yeah. And it's and the thing is, we're all in contact. I just saw Cass today, who was one of the writers. He's a head writer and one of the creators of Taina. So he was actually in town. He's filming the show Atlanta, and he called me and we had lunch today. We're all very much in contact with each other. Even Selenis, who did Orange is New Black for all those seasons, she was like, girl, every interview that I do, I don't care what, I'm titirosa every time. They don't care how many episodes of Orange is New Black I do. They don't care what. I'm always titirosa. So I'm like, see, it's just had such an impact. So we don't understand it. We have, me and Selenis even wrote a version of a pilot script. Like, we were so serious about it. And we had like a meeting with Maria. Nickelodeon happened to call, and they were in talks for a minute. It fizzled out, and we don't know what happened after that.
I'm putting all positive energy out there.
Yes, and all
a new generation of children need to be inspired by each and every one of those souls, the way that I was inspired, and I'm sure that millions of other Latino and Afro-Latino children were inspired. So thank you again.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. And of course, at the time, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just enjoying the fact, and so appreciative to have the job, to have finally booked such a recurring role on a major, network. And we were all just so grateful for being in the position that we were in. We had no idea what type of impact it was going to have. And we were, unfortunately, we know we could have had even more of an impact. Like, had we gone on, there's no telling.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that, because it was a show in my childhood. That show was part of my childhood. Existence. So it definitely made an impact on me. So what inspired? What was your inspirations for the character of Maritza? Because she was a diva, honey, and my favorite on the show. So,
It's so crazy because Maria, the creator of the show, she based it, loosely off of her life for real, and so there were characters in in the show that were real, that were based off of real people, and Maritza was one. She was a bully to her in school for real, and so I of course took it to the next level because I dressed like her for real in high school. Like I could show you yearbook pictures, and I pretty much dressed like Marissa. Like I was the only one in sequins and feathers and stuff in high school.
Fashion.
Okay. I went to a professional performing arts high school, and they still was like, "Why are you so dressed up every day?" Like I swear, I came in spacesuits, whatever. And I remember Levi's came to our school scouting like teen fashion forward teens, and they saw me walking down the hallway, and they're like, "What do you have on? Come here, let me talk to you." Yes, and they hired me, and I was a fashion consultant when I was like 17. It's so crazy. I have this article, but it's like, yeah, so that's what I brought to Maritza was that wild side, just the making her larger than life and just taking her to the next level. I just had so much fun playing her, so they let me kind of run with her.
We did a job. You brought
Yes, you did.
That character. It was the breakout character. So for the fans, like it was Christina was all show. Taina was the show, but Marissa was like had her own spinoff in that show. Like Marissa was in her own world. So
it was definitely in the plans. That was part of the plans too. Was a spinoff, and a movie was in the works. There was so much in the works, like the albums that we were supposed to do. It was a lot. So it was, even to this day, I don't think any of us are over it. I don't think we've ever kind of emotionally healed from this thing all the way. So
don't let the fire go out now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, and it hasn't for me at all. But I don't think any of us for sure. We definitely Christina works. So she's definitely doing her thing. Yeah. But she still feels like Taina was her thing, and she's so willing to come back for us to do something again, and so is everybody else. So
that's beautiful.
All we have to do is say go, and we got it. We here.
Yes. Yes. I hope you guys come back and do a special or even reboot, because they rebooting all these other shows. So Taina definitely needs to be brought back and given this just to hashtag justice for Taina, because Taina surely, and I'm still in my feelings.
Yes. Yes, and I'm actually working on a project as well with just a few people. It's in limbo whether or not how involved the Taina castmates will be, but other child stars from the industry as well. And that's a little different. It's a different tone. It's sort of one of those, you think you know the story on people, but you don't. And people that you haven't seen for a while, and you're kind of like, what happened to that person? You don't really know what happened. A lot of people think that everybody just fell off, and they don't really know. So this is like, and a lot of us organically just came together. This wasn't something that I planned. We just ended up kind of coming back together and realizing, hey, I didn't know you were in my city, and we started hopping from LA to Atlanta and just linking up with each other. And we're like, yo, let's just put it on tape. Let's just see what happens. So it's we're working on a sizzle for reality type situation.
Oh, that's dope.
That's dope, and that's going to be interesting. So you mentioned transition. So my next question is, what was the transition like for you, leaving the child star realm and trying to transition to the adult roles and acting? How was that for you after Taina ended?
Oh yeah, that's the interesting part, and that's the question pretty much for all of us, because some people are like, well, did you leave the business, or did you did the business leave you? And it's like, really, I don't feel either way in my case. I feel like I tried to stay as relevant as I possibly could, but I couldn't always. Honestly, I went through a lot of the same things that everybody else goes through, even the financial struggles. So after a while, when you're not working, and there was, and there's the politics will put you in positions, right? Because I was supposed to be, I was up for half and half when we were on hiatus.
Oh, wow.
And I love
so Essence Atkins role, I was up for that role. And so they actually wanted me for the role. They had me on hold. and we were on hiatus for Taina. They didn't know, and during that time, you weren't doing multiple shows like they're doing now, not as a recurrent.
Right.
And so they were like, okay, well, we don't know, and we don't know if we're coming back, and if we're coming back, we can't come back without Maritza, so we can't let her go. So end up losing that role, and then they didn't come back for a third season.
Wow.
So
would have been Dee, so you would have been Dee.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And so those types of things set you up not only like career-wise, but financially. It keeps you afloat for the next thing. And so when time kind of goes by, it's like, okay, puts you in different positions. So I couldn't stay in LA. I couldn't stay in New York. I couldn't afford to be there, and then I had my kid. And I became mom, and I'm like, I'm not the one that's leaving mine on everybody's couch. I'm not doing all that. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So I had to do other things in the meantime to kind of keep myself afloat. And I was still audition. Virtual was a thing. It wasn't a thing like it is now, but you were able to submit, and I was traveling for auditions. I was showing up and being in the room, when I was getting the callbacks and showing up and whatever. So I was always trying to keep myself relevant, but it just is what it is. And then it was like, okay, well, I'll write a book and a product.
Maybe the universe has other plans for you, bigger plans.
Right.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, and I actually would have never invented Grease Bags had I not had that downtime. I would have never, written my children's book had I not had that downtime. And I actually got published. So it's one of those things where it's like I didn't publish it myself. I did get published. It was a small publisher, but it just kind of, those types of things just made me prove to myself what I can do. And I think in those downtime, if I didn't have that downtime, I would not have proven that to myself. So you're right. If God has his plans, and I'm not questioning it, and I'm always going to be an actress. I'm always going to be able to do it. And I'm still here. I'm in Atlanta now. I'm, in the process of looking for new representation, but I'm, putting those irons in the fire every day. I was very close to a series, not just recently. But, so I'm still out here. So you never know. And I'm like, when the right thing comes about, it'll happen. And in the meantime, this business has me so I got a lot going on.
You have a closet full of hats. And when you need to, you walk in there and you take the hat that you need and keep it pushing.
That's the perfect way to put it. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I was just gonna say that's a very perfect way to put it, because it is, and I am grateful for that, because once you get it all together and get it all organized, and the wheels start turning the way they're supposed to, and that machine is really working, then people look at you like you're a genius. Yeah. Oh wow! I feel crazy right now, though.
But let me be the first to tell you, I'm sure not the last. You are a genius.
Thank you.
You are super talented.
Thank you.
Please continue. You still have the fire of an actress. You still have the fire of an inventor. You just have a fire that's super flexible. So keep pushing, please.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. I'm so creative. I mean, writing, hopefully I'd love to write projects one day, screenwriting as well. I have scripts, stacks of them. That's another thing I did in my downtime, but everything is like, I'm not the one to do things prematurely. I don't have the budget for that right now.
Right.
So I'm like, but those are things that I'm like, let me get things ready. You never know when you come across somebody that may want to pick it up and, may want to invest in it themselves. So,
you never know. And I hope that you're working on some music, because, those vocals that you gave on Taina, like, we live for them, honey.
I know, Cass. Cass asked me today. He was like, "Are you singing?" And I was like, "No, I have just been in limbo with a lot of stuff, but I want to. Like, I've been in the studio. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing but just here and there, and." It's important for me. And I remember when I was younger and being in the studio heavy, because at one time I was actually acting, singing more than I was acting. Right before I booked Taina, I was like in the studio a lot more. And I was close to a lot of record deals. I was signed to a production deal, which was Nickelodeon back then. That's who Adina Howard and all them were signed to.
Oh, wow.
But I was pending with LaFace and all that. And I was in the studio with Deborah Cox. So that was like a bigger part of my career before I booked Taina. But the role was perfect because I was able to do both, and I was able to be in the studio and be on screen as well. So it was perfect for me. But I'm so used to working with a team though, like a production team. So just randomly going into the studio, like, hey, come through, you know what I'm saying, put a few vocals on here. It's like I just been looking for that team where I can kind of build a sound with because I don't know, you know, I don't know what it is I want to put out there right now. I can write and it'll sound like 10 different albums. So I'm like maybe this music is for somebody else.
Variety is good though. You can write all different types of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm like, who am I? Who am I? Who would I like to, you know, establish myself as? So I don't know. I just like want to get in the studio and just work. You know, we'll see what happens.
Well, please do soon when you find you find your direction and what you want to put out, because your vocals are iconic and we need them. We missing those vocals, you know. The girls now aren't, you know, they're not delivering those soulful, stellar vocals nowadays, so we missing that.
Oh yeah, because my mom, that comes from my mom and those old like albums she used to play, and you know, soul is embedded. Plus, they come from a gospel background as well, so that soul music is where it's at, though. Yeah, they don't know about that.
And what kind of music? What kind of music are you interested in? Like, what makes your vocal cords tingle?
Yeah.
Well, vocally, it would be that soul R&B, soulful R&B.
Yes.
You know, that stuff that has those undertones of like what Aretha would be doing, and you know, the stuff that Faith used to do back in the day, and even the stuff that Beyonce was doing on the Me, Myself, and I albums, and you know what I'm saying? Like it was like it has those undertones where you singing like that, you singing, you know, like that type of stuff, and it's like soul though, you know what I'm saying? Like that heart, like I like this. Faith is one of my favorites. Like I'm so in love with her, and she was actually one of the I'd say the modern day vocalists, because of course Aretha and Whitney and all of them, of course, you know what I'm saying? But on top of that, Faith just taught me what I could do with my voice soulfully. Like, you know, I could just, I don't know, I resonated with her. So yeah, that's what really moves me vocally. But I like all kinds of music because I love me some Bonnie Raitt. Like she's soulful to me, you know. Shania Twain is soulful to me. But I like, yeah. Oh, I love Adele. I love all of them, and Yeba Smith. Ooh, Yeba.
She's amazing.
Okay, Yeba will eat a song alive. Okay, she will eat it alive. So that's what those type of vocalists move me, and I love what's out now. I just feel like you know, I can't differentiate who's who a lot of times. I don't know. Everybody sound the same.
That part, no distinction. Yes.
Her is one of my favorites.
I think you came from an era, you know, when you're coming up and doing your thing, of artists that were unique, that were standouts, that were like you said, you were deep rooted in soul and gospel. So you know, when you mix that up together, that gives you some extraordinary results, and you don't get that anymore. You get a lot of people who are different.
You knew who it was when you turned on the radio. You know it was Brandy. You know it was Monica. You know it was Aaliyah. And everybody was equally great. And they didn't sound anything like each other. Everybody didn't have to be screaming their heads off. Some people sang low. Some people sang high. Some people sang loud. But it was fine. You know, you had Total, TLC, you know, where they just easy with it. And we loved it, you know. So it's just like,
but they could all sing, you know.
And
it wasn't a studio.
Yes. So, and everybody's just doing the same things. I feel like, you know, I do like artists like her. I respect her. So I think she's extremely talented. And what's the other girl? What is her name? Boot up.
Ella May.
She's right on the tip of my tongue. I like her as well, but she sounds different. I know who she is when I turn on the radio. So I think that's.
Who just said something about singing low? Because you know, you just said singing up. Everyone was singing. Folks can sing up or sing low. Someone like Toni Braxton today won't be able to make it.
And Toni, I was just listening to her new song on the radio. She has such depth to her voice. It's so sultry, like. And I was thinking about it, you know, like some people, and Tamar is like equally has a great voice, but it's like some people would prefer Toni, you know, because of the easiness of it, because they want to ride and listen, and some people would prefer Tamar because they want to shout and get up and, you know what I'm saying, dance around the room. So it's different, you know. but it's
Tony's
different
like
emotions. But
Tony's like like putting on a warm blanket. Like she
oh
just, you know what
yes.
I mean? Like she just
Very
has
soft.
that just yes. Like
Drinking some
within
hot
your
chocolate
core.
when it's 12 degrees outside.
I was going to say
That's
Christmas hot chocolate fireplace. That's Tony Braxton.
okay. That's strike that fire up.
Yes, that's Tony. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
love them. But I love them both. But yeah, I just
Mhm.
feel like people should respect that though and stop trying to make everybody sound the same. Like, why do you want
I agree.
everybody to be the same? It's not fun.
Because there's nobody because they don't have that uniqueness from individual artists anymore. So their only question is to try to make everybody sound the same now because there's no individual, not many like there was back in the '90s and early 2000s. Like where they were
Mm-mm.
individual. When you heard vocals, you knew who was who. Like you said, on the radio, you knew who was who. You knew there was Deborah on the radio, or Mariah,
Mm-hmm.
or Fantasia, or Tony. You knew
Mm-hmm.
this is who was singing. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
different
You
times.
definitely did, and I miss those times. But even then, when I would have auditions with record labels, I used to hate. My mom used to hate it too. She would go in because she's a singer. She's like, "Why do you want her to sound like everybody else?" Because they would be like, "Who do you compare yourself to?"
I know
They'd
that's
be like, "Who do you
right.
compare yourself to?" And I'm like, I don't compare myself to. Well, it's got to be somebody. Like, if you could though, and she'd be like, "Why do you want her to?" And it's just like, yeah, I hate that question though. Like, why would you want anybody to?
It's very much I feel like it's like okay, so like a label will go, oh, okay, well, oh, this works and this sold a lot. Okay, so we need
Mm-hmm.
this one, and this one to all sound like this one, so then we can,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's so whack. Like everybody becomes robotic. This worked, like you said, it sold this many albums, so let's do it again.
Absolutely. It's replication.
Mm-hmm.
Replication.
Mm-hmm.
Latangela, I heard you mention your mother twice.
Yeah.
How important was your mother helping you guide you through this industry and keeping you safe and not allowing, the predators and the vultures come around you?
Oh, she was everything because my mom did not play. She was always there. She never let me be in studios by myself, even when it was people that I knew, and friends of mine. She was just like, no. I mean, if they requested for her not to be in the studio, she'd be like, no, why? What is it that I can't be here for? Like, my mom's a vocalist, so a lot of times she contributed to the session, like really, whether it be a harmony or writing or whatever, or giving me some vocal pointers. So she was actually helpful, and she wasn't overbearing. She fell back. She wasn't that momager that everybody's scared of.
That
So
takes
she
over. She wasn't trying to take over.
Right.
no, not at all. And she didn't have a reputation for that, So I would argue with more people than she did. She'd be like, all right.
Shout out to
Like,
mom.
that's enough. But it would be me more than anything. So she was actually she was very instrumental in that though. So she didn't play. And if there were any predators around, she didn't give them a chance to try me. So, a lot of times, like if I was in the room with some people that were like, "Oh, he didn't try you this way," and I'm like, "He didn't have a chance." So I'm not saying you're lying, but my mom was too close for anybody
And
to
that's a
do anything.
beautiful shout out to your mother for
Yes,
keeping you safe that way, because a lot, you're hearing those things now where, the parents, yes, they went on a coffee run, or they were leaving a child alone with someone that they trusted. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you keep mentioning your mom and you just share that story lets me understand that the importance of a parent that wants to protect their child and their child innocence is important on that journey.
Absolutely.
In that industry.
Oh, it is. And I've heard some horror stories that she didn't even let me ride in the car, even if we're going to the same place. I'm not riding in the car without her. So that it was definitely like that. And I didn't care, it's like, why not? Because I don't want to be in this car by myself anyway. But yeah, it's very important. So that's why I have no sympathy sometimes when I hear certain stories about certain parents, and I will name any names.
Yeah,
but
we all know.
Absolutely.
Right, but it's like I have no sympathy because you really could have nipped that in the bud if you wanted to.
Absolutely. And it's about protecting.
You could have.
It's about protecting, protecting children in that industry. And so your mother did a really wonderful job. I also wanted to ask, so speaking of, and you being a mother yourself as well, so what was, and I know you said you wrote a children's book. What was your inspiration behind that? And can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so Military Brats is my children's book. It's Military Brats with the Z, but I titled it that because I am a military brat. And
I'm also a little bit of a military brat.
Are you really? Air Force, Al?
So Army. I know Air Force is better, but like,
Yeah, this is way better.
Oh shit.
My sister-in-law is Air Force. My parents are both retired Army, so I was like, oh, okay, military brats.
Yes, love it. I love my military gear and everything. I wear it still. I still have my flight jacket my dad gave me when I was 14.
Right.
I wear it all the time.
The memorabilia I love. Like,
yes.
Keeping that and stuff. So it's.
Oh, I know.
I didn't have to move like as much, like because my parents chose to let me stay with my grandmother just for like mild stability. But like I'd go like certain times like to Texas, Virginia, like all that different jazz. But
yeah. It was definitely a lot of moving around. But my dad retired when I was really young, but he still did like government contracting, which he still does right now.
My mom does too.
Does she really? So yeah, it's like you still live the military life, really, still. It's just like it, we've lived on and off the bases as well, or right outside the base, but we still hopped around different countries. But the book was it's an anti-cyberbullying book though, for young children.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the military brats are superheroes in the story, and the reason why I just chose those kids to be the superheroes, and they're really teaching kids that all kids can be superheroes, that all kids are superheroes, but it's because of their resilience as military kids. With all the moving around, you're always the new kid. You're subject to a lot of bullying, and you got to be real resilient when you're a military kid. It's like you got to have some thick skin. So and they deal with a lot, and so I just use them as my star characters. But it's all about positive energy and kind of teaching kids about cyber safety in a way that's not scary, because it is for the younger kids. And when I toured the schools, a lot of the faculty was like, this is really cool because we have to incorporate cyber safety into our curriculum. It's mandatory, but it's boring. The stories and, the subject matter is real boring. Kids aren't into it, but they were like, this is really cool though. And, this is a fun way to tell the story and to teach the lessons. And I think, and the kids were really, really into it. So it's different. It's different. I often have to explain like, well, is military about military kids or is it about this? But I'm just like, once you get into the characters though, I'm just trying to highlight military kids as a character. Right. They're just not highlighted. You don't see them in cartoons. You don't see them as puppets on Sesame Street. You don't see them, you don't. And so I'm just like, they're just the star characters, but it's really about, cyberbullying and just teaching young kids the safety of that. And it's a story, it's about positive energy and how we can just combat that real easily and being strong, and they're talented kids. They sing, and I tried to make it fun, and it is a series. And it's something that I started off writing as a cartoon, but it segued into a book. So I said, maybe I'll get back to a cartoon later, but yeah. So it is available on Amazon if anybody wants to check it out. But hopefully I can get it republished. And
that's the second thing I'm buying of yours from Amazon.
I was gonna say, that's two things now.
Keep it up. Keep it up. You don't have to sell out.
Right.
We about to have all of your items in the house now.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys so much because they've been around for a minute, but I got to get back on my horse and start marketing things. Some things have been like, okay, pause for a minute and get back to it so I can start pushing all this stuff out there again. But yeah.
So are you going to expand your military branch? Are you going to expand it into like more series, like making more books or more stories about the military branch? Are you going to expand?
Yeah, they're actually outlined already. I still have to flush out a few, but I've outlined about 5 or 6 stories already. So whenever I kind of get a machine behind me, like I said, a good publisher, and can get those cranked out, I definitely will for sure.
That'd be neat to turn it into a series or bring it to life. Bring your story, your series to life. It'd be awesome to see.
I would love it. I would love to see it as a cartoon. I've been approached to turn it into a play, but a cartoon would be amazing. So
definitely dope for the children.
Yeah, definitely. definitely. And there's not anything really out there touching on that, even now. It's just not for the young kids as far as
Representation.
cyberbullying is concerned.
Yes,
So,
representation matters. So
mhm.
where can we find your grease bags? Where can we buy them? Where can our viewers purchase them in your book?
Yeah, so grease bags are available on Amazon as well as my book Military Brats. And then you can also go to greasebags.com and you can order them from there as well and also read more about the product. You can email me with any questions you may have or any requests. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And we're working on our getting it on the shelves. Like it's definitely on the way. So hopefully you guys will see it in your Targets. And Kroger just approached us, so we're working on a lot of things. So it's like I said, I need more hands on deck because I can't keep up. I probably could have been in there.
Yes, it's awesome.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
so excited just for
Me
everything
too.
coming, for
Yes.
the future. And also I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. It really means a lot to us. I mean, I would say the same, right, Theo and Jasper?
Yes, I'm really, really grateful that you chose to do our humble podcast.
Yes.
I want to thank you, Latangela. You're an actress, a singer, an inventor, a mom, a military brat, and a phenomenal woman. And I appreciate you being here with us.
Yes, come on,
Thank you.
Law.
Oh no, I want to thank you guys for having me. Jasper, me and Jasper, we kick it all the time on Instagram. So that's bruh right there. He knows that's family.
Yes.
He knows what it is.
And I just want to thank you too for coming on and accepting our invitation to come join me and my bros on this show. Because you're my girl, and I had to get you on here. I had to get the queen on here. I had to make it make sense.
And I appreciate you. We still got to get our TikToks popping and stuff. We so late. Oh my God. Yes, we got to get our stuff popping. So yeah.
Oh yes, please on TikTok because I'm a TikTok addict. I will literally go into a spiral of just watching like TikToks. Like
I know. And you and my cousin, she calls me. She's like, "You got to do this one. You got to do that one." I'm like, "Girl, I want to. I just don't have no time. But I got to get my life together."
It's time consuming. It's time.
It is. But we have to do it though because it's too much fun. Yeah. And I just started one for grease bags as well because I actually put my grease bags promo up on my TikTok page, and that's the only video that went viral. Like it went stupid. And there was like and it was it was a huge conversation. People were arguing about grease and stuff. It was crazy over there. So
I can't wait. I'm gonna head over to, and so should everyone else. All of our listeners, head on over to TikTok.
Yes,
look at grease bags immediately.
Yes, go to grease bags, and then if you go to @Iam_Latangela, you'll see the grease bags promo there. That's where the video originally went viral, but you can see like the crazy conversation. But I just started the grease bags TikTok, so I'm thinking of some stuff to put up there and just get it all going. Like this is a job. Social media is another job.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Part-time job for something.
Yeah.
Because it's hard work.
I need a team just for that.
Yes, because it's hard work getting the correct hashtags and find out what the trending tags are and get it out there and getting the viewers to look at it. And
and it would be so great because I have a lot of ideas for content. If I could just have the setup there and be like, hey, okay, team, need y'all to come together. Let's knock this video out. But having to kind of do it all myself, it's just a lot. So I'm just like, a team is everything at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's coming.
You'll get it.
You will get it, honey. We're gonna let you go. We're gonna let you go so we can, give you your rest of your evening. We're glad you came and joined us and gave us some of your time. We don't want to take too much of your time.
Oh no, I appreciate you guys. I am going to get in here and finish eating my leftovers from lunch today because I didn't finish.
Come on, leftovers.
I mean, that food was good though.
Listen, boss babes need rest as well.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. So Cass took me out to shout out to Rock South here in Atlanta. That food is amazing. So I gotta go in here and finish that.
Come on, ATL. Yes.
Man.
Well, we thank you, and thank you for being a part of our podcast. And until next time, everybody. And thank you, Latangela.
Oh, thank you guys. Good night. Much love to you. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.